Hi, everyone, and welcome to what will be the first lecture for the class in this um, semester and for this week as well. I want to just thank everybody for hanging with me as I completely forgot what quiz that had to be done. I did not edit that. I do apologize. I do thank everybody for letting me know when you see those problems so I can take care of them. Um, I do apologize. And I will yeah, make sure I check everything a couple of times next time. Apparently I didn't save the question. I just saved the quiz changes. That didn't work. So I do apologize. Anyway, so moving forward, our first lecture today is not going to be very long. It's just going to be, we're just going to give a brief overview of what a library catalog is. Most of you, I'm assuming, and if you haven't, that's fine. I'm sure some of you are very familiar with the library catalog. I know we have somebody here who does cataloging. And I know some of you who may not have ever been to a library catalog before, and that's totally fine. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to look at Pasadena's PCC's library catalog here really quick. So, I hope everybody can see this. But this is the PCC Library's homepage. And most libraries nowadays, they do have this feature where you have the catalog right at the very, very front, which you can search. As you can see, the rest of the library homepage is here. Just scroll down. There's some great things that they're doing right now. But for here is where the library catalog is. Now, most of you, I'm sure, at least I used to when I was growing up, right? When we think of a library catalog, we immediately think of the card catalog, right? The big, structures that we pull out, and very few libraries have that anymore. They're around. You do see them occasionally. Some historical information may be in one. But basically, what happened was they took the information that were on the cards and they moved it into an electronic format. Now, when they originally did that back in the 90s and the 80s, it was literally when you looked in the card catalog, it was literally, you would see a picture of a card and with all the information on it and how to find it. So it was very interesting moving it online, but now everything's online. Now, so let's get back to our question at hand. I'm kind of going a little off here a little bit, but what is a library catalog? So, library catalog is simply a place to find what the library owns, what the library has available to the patron. That's all it is. It's so when you think of a catalog of, when you I don't know if you some people in here know, but we used to get, like, when you get catalogs at home for different things, like maybe the Toys R Us catalog, for example, used to come out right every Christmas when we were little. You go through and you circle the toys you wanted, right? That was literally just what did Toys R Us own that your parents could buy for you or not. The Sears Roebuck catalog, was all the different things, Sears carried. That's all a catalog is. It's simply what it owns, what you can get from the library. And that's what library catalog here is. Now, what that matters for, so let's go ahead. Let's do a search. I'm just going to do the search on cataloging. And in here, just put in cataloging. It's going to search through everything that, most things, but everything that physically is owned by Pasadena City College, by PCC. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, just did a very broad search for cataloging. There's 22,975 things that came up right here. It's by relevance. So that simply means that the more times like cataloging came up, or the more relevant it is to the word cataloging, it came up. You can also just change the different ways of searching it on here. So the first book that came up was, and it is a book, it says it's a book, is Small Library Cataloging by Hoffman, and it's by 2002. So let's go ahead and click on that. And again, we have a picture of the book. We have the title, we have the author, when it was made, we have where it's located. It's available, right? We could check out this book. It is on the Shetford Library. It's at the main library on the 3rd floor. And then here is the number, right, that it's there for. Where we just go to this information, the Dewey Decimal number, find this book on the shelf, and we can check out this book. The fancy features about the online catalog, right? You can do different things, email it to you, all that good stuff. If you come down here to the location items, now this looks more like the library catalog, right, that we had when we had the physical card catalog. We have where it's located, all that good stuff. In addition, now, because it is online, you have lots of information. The same information was on the catalog, was on the card catalog. We had the title, the creator, in this case, the author. We have our different subjects. We have mesh subjects as well. We have, in this case, they actually write out the table of contents. And then we have our related titles, etc. Now, this is where it differs slightly from the card catalog and where we are now. When we had the card catalog, there were generally 3 pieces of information on it, right? There was the information for the book, or generally books, but for the item. So you had on there this information, right? You had the title, the author, and the year. You had where you found this information, right? So in this case, you would have generally just would have the my mind is completely blank, but the Dewey Decimal number in this case on it, right? Your classification number. And then it would have the subjects. So what fell into this subjects, right? Subjects are words or phrases given to an item by a librarian, a cataloger, somebody in the library field, right, has gone through and said, okay, this is what this book's actually about. The reason in this case you actually see 2 different types of catalog, you see 2 different types of subjects. There's actually a lot of different subjects. So we're going to talk about those as we go along in the class. But just really quickly, there's a lot of different subject headings that you can, different types. There's LCSH, there's MESH, there's Sears. Those are kind of the 3 biggies, but there's all kinds of different ones. So Sears is, they're very general. These are I'm pretty sure these are Sears headings. They look like Sears headings to me. LCSH is Library of Congress subject headings. They're slightly different, but they serve the same function, right? What is this book about? They all serve the same function. MESH is the medical library. It stands for the medical subject headings. It's very specific to the medical field. So they get really down and dirty into the medical field. Those are kind of 3 of them. Again, there's a ton of different subject headings out there. And so just be aware. But those were the kind of the 3 pieces of information, right? What was the item? Where can I find the item? And what was the item about? And so we've been able to expand that a little bit and give you a little bit more information, like the table of contents. This is what all the different chapter headings are about. In this case, they even gave us related items. In this case, there are some online versions that we can go to. We don't have to go to the shelf, right? You also have your publisher. It's the 3rd edition, the format. All of this is what cataloging is. So how does this information get here? That is what the cataloger does, right, for this cataloging record. They go through, and this is what you're going to learn in this class. You're going to learn how to create how to create this record. That's what you're going to be doing in this class. So it gets through, and you're going to sit there and say, okay, you have this book in front of you if it came in. You can look through this book and you say, okay, turn to the title page and the verso of the title page, and you can look through it. Hang on a second, I'm going to grab, sorry. So when you have a book here, this is obviously not this book, but you would turn to your title page. Always turn to your title page because that's where the correct information is. And then the verso, which is the back page for your title page. So you have your title page, and then on the back, it's called the verso. And this is where you're going to get most of the information for your cataloging, for your record that you're going to create. Again, we're going to go great detail into this. But you're going to have, so the title, again, we'll say on the title page, you're going to have your authors or your creators, right? It's who created this record. In this case, it was an author. You have your date. And then you have, if you come down, you'll get your year. You'll get on. If you ever look at the Verso, pull a book out, you can look at the back of it. You're going to see subject headings on there. You're going to see even a cataloging number for most Versos, so keep that in mind. But basically, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be creating these records to go into a catalog so that people can find it, right? That is the purpose of the library catalog. There's 4 purposes of the library catalog, and you're going to read about this when you read chapter 1. And it's called FERBR, but it's finding the materials, the item, identifying it, selecting it, and then obtaining it. So those are the 4 pieces of FERBR. So what do you want to find, right? I need a book on cataloging. So how do I go? I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a search in my library catalog for cataloging in this case. And then I'm going to say, okay, this is the book that I want. I want small library cataloging. This is the one that I want. And then I'm going to obtain it. How am I going to obtain it? I'm going to write down the call number and I'm going to go to the library and I'm going to go to the 3rd floor in this case and get this book, or I can go down here and look at it. There are online versions, right? But that's how I'm going to obtain this book. So that is the purpose of the library catalog. There are 2 types, just stepping back here. I'm sorry, I have some notes here. I just want to make sure I cover everything. So that is what we're going to be doing when we go through this class. Those are the big things that we're going to be doing. Part of cataloging is you're going to give, like, what does the item look like? So if you come down here, there are 10 non-numbered pages, right, of this book at the beginning. There are 224 pages. There are illustrations in this book, and it is 23 centimeters high. And then there's also ISBN, LC, a whole bunch of different numbers. Again, we have their publisher, 3rd edition, all that good stuff. Again, you're going to be learning how to do this, to put it into something like this. There's 2 different types of cataloging. There is original cataloging and there is copy cataloging. Original cataloging is if you have an item that has never been cataloged before that you want to put in your catalog, you have to do everything for it. You can catalog anything under the sun. I have this lovely Rubik's Cube. It's actually a thermometer. It has a clock on it and a whole bunch of other stuff, but I use it as a thermometer. But it looks like it has a calendar, it has a timer, all kinds of fun stuff. Basically, it just looks like a Rubik's Cube, right? I can catalog this and I can put it into my library catalog. Anything can be cataloged. Now, the chances of this being in my library catalog or somewhere out there, because we do share information within the world, in the library world, is probably pretty small. Maybe it's out there, I'd have to look, but the chances of it, let's say it's not going to be out there. So I would have to go through and I would say, okay, this is a, there's different items, codes, books, journal articles, etc. But I would, this is a cube, let's say, give it a title, Rubik's Cube thermometer. It was made, I'm not sure who it was made by. You'll probably look that up. I think I got it from the MoMA. But anyways, we would find who did it, who created this. And then you go through the same principles of if it's a book, if it's a journal article, it doesn't matter. You go through every single thing to catalog any item that you want to put in a library catalog. Again, generally it's books, newspapers, magazines, journal titles, right? But depending on if you are a cataloger at the Huntington, for example, you're going to be cataloging different things necessarily, right? They have lots of different items in their catalog. They don't just have books and journals. They have lamps and they have, couches, and they have all kinds of different things that they have in their library catalog. So that's original cataloging. There's not a record. You have to create something from scratch. Books occasionally come through like that. Not a lot anymore. Generally, like the Library of Congress, they get them and they put them in OCLC. OCLC is kind of you subscribe to it, and it's where they share the records through it. It's a provider. It's one of the things that they do. They do other stuff too, but you can, and then you can share. That's where all the libraries go to share the records and get the records already in there. However, the other type is copy cataloging. And this is what 99%, or 99, but most of the time you're going to be doing. And that is where the record already exists out there. Somebody else has done it. Again, generally, if they're new books, it's like the Library of Congress who does them. But somebody out there in the world has done it. And you go and you look to see what they've done. You check it to make sure everything is correct against your record. You might have to add something. You might need to modify something depending on what it is. But then it's generally very quick. You just put it into your catalog. So again, copy cataloging is going to be is what a lot of it is. However, for this class, because we are learning cataloging, it's like anything else, we will be focusing more on the original cataloging, right? Because we need to know how to do it first. So that's where we're going to be focusing on. You're going to be looking at the different principles, but again, the upshot of it is, right, we're going to be creating records in this class to put them into our library catalog. They're not going to actually go there, but theoretically, to put them into a library catalog so that people can find that book. And that's what we're going to be doing today. That's not today, but during this next 16 weeks. So the library catalog, again, basically, just to emphasize, I've kind of gone off a little bit, is basically a way to find, it's a place where anything that the library owns is kept that is searchable, so that somebody can go and find that item and go check it out or use it, be able to use that item. So that is the basis of the library catalog. And we, as potential catalogers or as catalogers, will be putting things into the library catalog. That is the point of cataloging. So if you've ever, wondered, hey, what is cataloging? Why am I here? Why am I taking this class? That's that's what you're going to be doing, is you're going to be creating these records. Now, you may be saying, I'll say this, I don't really want to be a cataloger. I want to be a reference librarian. I want to be, I want to work with people. I don't really want to be, the back. That's what ends up happening. So a couple of thoughts on that, just to let you know. Cataloging, there are lots of positions where you do a little of everything. So just keep that in mind. If you want to, just keep that in mind, because depending on what your job you end up getting, you may end up doing a little bit of cataloging, a little bit of reference, a little bit of instruction, collection development, kind of everything. The other thing to keep in mind is, let's say you get a job and you're only doing reference, right? You're not doing anything else. You still need to know how to find a book. I mean, that's the basics of how you're helping people. So you still need to know how the record is created, what everything means, because that is super, super important. So everything works together. So keep that in mind as we go through class today. Today and this semester, is that cataloging is a basis of any really being a librarian, because we have to know how to find those items and how to locate them and help our patrons. So just keep that in mind. But so again, just to reiterate one more time, library catalog, so everything is kept, the library owns. 4 things, right? It allows you to find the item, to identify what you're looking for, to select an item that you want, and then to obtain that item, to go find that item. Read chapter 1 in our book, and it will go over a lot of these same principles. It talks about Cutter, which we're going to talk about. I'll be doing another lecture on Cutter later on this week. But just be aware of that. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I kind of, went off a little bit, but that's basically what we're going to be doing this next 16 weeks, is learning how to put things into a library catalog, so that we and patrons and other people can go and find the items and actually use them. And there's a lot of protocols around that, so that we can find the items, and that's what we're going to be doing this semester. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, and good luck. Again, read chapter 1. It's very short. It will not take you very long to read it. read chapter 1. Let me know if you have any questions. Post in the discussion forum as well. Again, reminder, tomorrow I need you to have checked in. And so make sure if you have not done the welcome form to do that today. And I will be posting this. And then tomorrow I'll be posting another lecture as well on just kind of general cataloging techniques. And then the last one will be on Cutter. So good luck, everybody, and let me know if I can do anything to help.